Are you in Washington, D.C., but only have one day to see the sights? Well, stick around because we're going to talk about the top 5 things that you should see in the nation's capital. Hello and welcome to the Isler Window YouTube channel. My name is Brent and the goal of this channel is to make your life on the road easier and more pleasant. If you're looking for reviews, tips, hacks, and other things to make your travel experience better, consider subscribing to the channel and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so that you never miss any of my new videos. I first visited Washington, D.C. in 2007, and then shortly after that in 2008, I moved here and have been here pretty much ever since. You can easily spend a week or even 2 weeks here and honestly never get bored. But what if you're just here for one day? Maybe you've got a meeting or you're here for a conference and you've got either an afternoon or an entire day and you really want to get out and see the sights and get a feel for what Washington, D.C. is really like. I think if you do these 5 things, you'll have a really good experience and get a pretty good feel for what this city is all about. Number 1 is to see the National Mall. I mean, seriously, would you consider going to Paris and not even looking at the Eiffel Tower? Now, keep in mind that the mall is huge. It's 2 miles from the Capitol on the east to the Lincoln Memorial on the west, and that's just one way. So it's not something that you can do in half an hour on foot. But with so many monuments and museums, gardens, statues, and the White House, it's well worth taking half of a day to stroll the mall. Even better, rent a Capitol bike share or one of the many rental scooters and cut your time down dramatically. And if you really want a spectacular experience, then stroll the mall at night. All of the monuments are lit up and the sights are utterly breathtaking. While DC might be a relatively large city and crime is definitely a concern, the mall is one of the safest places in the city due to its national and international importance. There is a very heavy law enforcement and security presence on the mall 24/7, so for the most part, you're going to be just fine if you're on the National Mall. Number 2 is to take the Capitol building tour. In about 45 minutes, you can get a guided tour of the spectacular U.S. Capitol building that includes a short, informative video presentation, the crypt, the statue gallery, and the rotunda. You'll need a separate pass to see the Senate or House floors, which can also be a great opportunity to see the government at work. Or not at work, as the case so often is. Number 3 is take the metro. Washington, D.C. is a working city, and with the traffic being as nasty as it is and parking as difficult and expensive as it is, most locals rely on the metro to get around. Within the city itself, the metro runs mostly underground, so you won't really get a chance to see the sights while you're riding, but the rides are usually short, unless there's a delay, which does happen. I think that involving yourself in the activities that locals do is a great way to get a feel for a city, and the metro is the one thing that everybody in town can talk about and honestly complain about. Number 4 is to visit one of the Smithsonian museums. The Smithsonian Castle in the middle of the mall is a good starting place, but the castle is really only worth about 30 minutes of your time at most. Instead, pick one of the museums that you are most interested in. Air and Space, American History, the Art Gallery, or the African American or American Indian Museum. All are amazing and will give you several hours worth of enjoyment. Remember though that there are more than 20 Smithsonian museums in the district and the surrounding area, so you won't be able to get to all of them in one day. In fact, there's still a couple that I haven't had a chance to visit yet, even after 11 years. Number 5 is to try out the food scene. When I first moved here, DC was really not known for its food scene. If you wanted to go out to a nice restaurant, you were pretty much stuck with a stuffy, expensive steakhouse, and you would hope that maybe you'd see a senator or congressman or something like that. But over the last 10 years, DC has really started growing into its own as a city that has so much more to offer than just politics. With the incredible diversity the city has to offer, you can find just about anything you want. Ethiopian, Ecuadorian, American, Chinese, Indian, Korean, so much good Korean food. Italian, French, you name it, you can find it. My personal favorite is the French restaurant Le Diplomat that's in the Thomas Circle neighborhood. It's a little pricey, but it is absolutely worth the cost, and absolutely if you want a fine dining experience, then I highly recommend Le Diplomat. There's also a vibrant cocktail and coffee culture here in DC to help you get your various chemical fixes. Oh, and marijuana is legal here, although the rules around it are kind of tricky. I'm not pro or against what, you do you, but keep in mind that if you do decide to indulge in the leaf, you might want to make sure that you're following all the appropriate local laws. And if you want to try DC's kind of hometown food staple, then check out Ben's Chili Bowl. It's you know, it's a chili dog for the most part, and it's good, but it's really, it's a unique place. It's certainly worth a visit there to kind of get a good feel for what DC food culture is all about. And don't forget all of the food trucks scattered around the mall. They're really quite fun and they're quite tasty. Now, if you've hit all 5 of those things, you will have had a really busy day and you will have gotten a really great opportunity to see what Washington, D.C. is all about. Oh, and the one place that I really don't think is worth your time is Chinatown. D.C. is not New York City or San Francisco, and the Chinatown that we have here is really more like a China half block. If you're in the area for a conference, then snap a picture of the arch, but there's really not much else to see here, except for a bunch of chain restaurants and stores that you can find in pretty much any other American city. But with that being said, there is just a ton of stuff to do here in the nation's capital. I love it. I'm happy to call this my hometown now. And if you have more than a day, then by all means, check out a lot of the things that locals do. Check out more than one Smithsonian and just really immerse yourself in the culture of this quintessential American city. And if you'd like more reviews and travel advice, then why don't you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click that notifications bell so that you never miss any of my new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, travel safe, and I'll see you soon.